Welcome to Badminton Unlimited, your weekly access to badminton and beyond. This week we sit down with Thailand's Ratchanok Intanon to talk about her journey back to the winning trail. And we visit the home of Malaysia's top para-badminton shuttler, Madzlan Saibon, as he talks about his ambitions in the sport. Ratchanok Intanon is back in the big time. The Thai's recent triumph at the Denmark Open was a long time coming, snapping a winless run that stretched for over a year on the BWF World Super Series circuit. Needless to say, her fans are delighted, but none more so than the world number 6 herself.
Winning the title in Denmark recently meant that I made a comeback to win a big championship. After about 18 months, I observed that my opponents have all improved. I probably had some ups and downs during my journey and I couldn't win anything. So when I finally won the Denmark Open, I was so relieved and it gave me more confidence. It was at that point I believed I'm back on the winning trail.
Badminton Unlimited made its way to Thailand's capital, Bangkok, recently to speak to the former world champion about her battle back to form. Since bagging an impressive hat-trick of BWF World Super Series crowns on the trot in April last year, many were expecting Ratchanok to go on and grab the winning headlines at the Rio Olympics. Unfortunately for the 22-year-old, the pressure proved too much. She was sent packing out of the world's biggest sporting competition in the round of 16.
I didn't achieve the goal I expected, which is to win a medal for Thailand. As for the expectation of me, I did feel the pressure. I can't say I didn't feel it. Everybody had high expectations because I was representing my country. Everyone wanted me to win a gold or at least a medal at the Olympics. It's not that easy because there are a lot of factors that decide whether I can do it. A lot of it depended on how well I could keep my concentration and how much I can cope with the pressure around me. I think I got too caught up trying to deal with those expectations happening outside of the court.
It didn't help that Ratchanok wasn't fully fit going into the Summer Games in Brazil, but the Thai shuttler took the disappointment in her stride, choosing to look at it as an important lesson learned.
The defeat in Rio showed me that I still have a lot of room to improve my game. Be it in terms of self-confidence or physical condition, I needed to be better. Before the start of the Olympics, I suffered an injury. And looking back, it was probably a better idea to have given my body more time to recover in the best possible manner. I have to always be 100% ready, both physically and mentally. The experience was a good lesson regarding how I needed to improve.
This year, Ratchanok began plotting her comeback at the All England Championships and was only pipped to the prestigious crown by world number 1, Tai Tzu-Ying. That runner-up finish in Birmingham paved the way for her to clinch morale-boosting wins in Thailand and New Zealand. Ratchanok's newfound confidence was down to finding consistency in her game and analysing her opponents better.
I managed to finish as runner-up at the All England Championships in March. After that, I told myself to try and push for a place in the last 8 at the tournaments I compete in. Of course, there are times when I try to aim to go further than that, but I will at least nail a spot in the quarterfinals. I wanted to keep my ranking up and build my confidence. Women's singles is such a tough format, so I needed to look at ways to improve. I studied how my opponents play and pick up areas in their game where they're good at, and also reflect on how I can make myself better.
August came and the BWF World Championships in Glasgow seemed to be the perfect stage to complete her comeback. Despite making a comfortable start to the premier competition, Ratchanok couldn't make it past the quarter-finals. Another disappointment for her, but this time, the Southeast Asian was more positive, reflecting on her defeat.
Before reaching the quarter-finals, I was playing quite well, and I was feeling good about my performances. But from then on, the feeling was different. I suddenly felt overwhelmed, and with the situation I was in, I couldn't concentrate fully on the task ahead of me. There were moments when I knew I could have placed myself in the driving seat, but that also added more pressure. A big reason for my loss was down to my own lack of focus, and there was no one else to blame but me. Not the coaches, not anyone else. I caused my own downfall. The experience taught me how I needed to be mentally stronger.
Ratchanok also decided to keep an open mind with some of the criticism that came her way, and that proved to be a crucial factor for her eventual triumph in October. With the month marking the anniversary of the passing of the late Thai king Bhumibol Adulyadej as well, the former world champion knew only a victory would do in Denmark.
I really put a lot of effort then, because it was an important month for Thai people. Whether I was confident or not, it didn't matter, because honestly, I've always felt confident in all my tournaments. It's just that sometimes my physical condition and other factors affected my performances. At the Denmark Open, everything came together. I was getting rewarded for what I was training for. I did everything well. A lot of people were critical of me and gave comments about my game. I tried to listen to their feedback and make some adjustments to my game, so I could come back and be a better player. I think listening to others can be a good thing. I should not keep to myself. My return to form is largely because I did more listening and corrected myself as much as I can.
It may have been a tough road back to success for Ratchanok Intanon, but one that has added much-needed resolve to her game. Thailand's badminton darling is now poised for even more glory.
To ask me about 2017, I feel quite satisfied because I won a couple of titles, managed a runner-up finish, and went as far as to finish in the top 8 in several tournaments. Overall, I didn't do badly, so I am glad. However, in the years ahead, especially in 2018, I will try to win more titles than this year for sure. I will try to prepare myself in the best way possible.
Time for some trivia. We want you to name the youngest men's singles player to capture a BWF World Super Series title. Think about it and we'll reveal the answer when we come back. After the break, we speak to Malaysia's para-badminton national team as they gear up for this week's BWF Para-Badminton World Championships. Before the break, we wanted you to name the youngest men's singles player to capture a BWF World Super Series title. The answer is Kento Momota. The former world number 2 clinched his first World Super Series crown in 2015 at the OUE Singapore Open. In doing so, the Japanese became the youngest Super Series champion in the men's singles discipline at the age of 20 years old. Momota marked his return this year by winning 5 out of the 6 tournaments he has competed in. His latest triumph came in Macau when he grabbed top honours at the Grand Prix Gold event. The Malaysia para-badminton national team is certainly growing from strength to strength. Their shuttlers are among the best in the world. At the BWF Para-Badminton World Championships 2015, the Southeast Asian country brought home 3 golds, a silver and a bronze. And in Korea this year, the Malaysians are hoping for another great showing at the 11th edition of the premier competition.
We're hoping to get a few medals from Didin, Mazlan. He has to target for at least the semi-finals, at least a bronze medal, or if he can go to, because he did well the last US Open in Colorado Springs for Oma should be in the semi-finals. Chia should go through to the finals, and their singles and doubles. And they didn't. The previous year he's the different champion. We hope about 3 or 4, hopefully about 1 or 2 gold medals, maybe some silvers.
29-year-old Chia Lek Hao is the most accomplished among his peers. The 10-time world champion in singles and doubles has been in this sport since he was 15. Chia and his men's doubles partner Hairul Fauzi Sabah are also one of the top pairs in the world. Men's singles para-shuttler Bakri Omar is ranked 3rd in the SL4 world rankings. Madzlan Saibon is the country's specialist in wheelchair badminton, while Sabah-born Didin Taraso is the defending world champion in the SS6 category.
Kejuaraan dunia edisi yang lepas di England,
My first World Championships was in England. I became the champion there. And for this year's edition, I hope to be able to defend my title. That is my target, to win the men's singles in the SS6 category.
dalam badminton persorangan lah, lelaki SS6.
Badminton Unlimited took our cameras to the Paralympic Sports Centre in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, to meet up with these para-athletes and their teammates when they were preparing for this week's world event in Korea.
So here is the main centre. For Mazlan, he's on the working. He has allowance. He will come on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays. The other 2 days will be on the gym for his strength training. But if there is any extra like tournaments, we will call him for extra trainings. Like Chia, he will be doing on his own. The training, he will come sometimes here for his trainings to have him partner Hairul Fauzi to have the combination, and he trains at times with us. He's strong, so he will be going for practices with his friends who are much better than him for him to improve.
Centralized training in para-badminton, we have our professional coach here, but when I go for my personal training, it's all my ex-national friends, most of them are ex-national players, so that I can spar with them.
At this year's ASEAN Para Games, the Malaysian shuttlers did their country proud when they walked away with 15 medals, including 4 golds in front of their home crowd in Kuala Lumpur. It certainly bodes well for the side as they head to East Asia.
Recently, my condition is quite good. I won a few tournaments like ASEAN Para Games, Japan Open, and hopefully I can maintain my condition well.
The Malaysia team knows victories will not come easy in Ulsan, Korea. Everybody is preparing for this world event, and every match will be analysed and every point will be fought to the last. But the Southeast Asian para-shuttlers are prepared more than ever before, and they are ready to bring their A-game come game time.
For SL4 will be the guy from France. It will be Lucas Mazur. And we have the Indian, Tarun. We have the Indonesian, Freddy and Harry Haryanto. Then we have a new guy from Thailand, just the guys. So we are watching them very closely. Then will be the wheelchair, Mazlan. He's in the top 4. We have two guys, two guys from Korea, one guy from Hong Kong, one guy from China. Mazlan should be around there in the top 4. SS6 is more on Europe, but they should be in the podium.
Saya akan coba buat yang terbaik.
I will of course do my best to defeat them. I'm much more prepared this year compared to 2 years ago in 2015.
Bersedia untuk tahun ini berbanding dengan tahun 2015.
Hopefully I can defend the title, both titles, single and doubles. This is my biggest hope for this World Championship.
The MetLife BWF World Super Series action resumed last week to entertain badminton fans at the Tahoe China Open 2017. Women's singles raised the curtains on finals day, and number 5 seed Akane Yamaguchi was looking to land her first World Super Series title against home favourite Gao Fangtie. The Japanese ace claimed the first game with little resistance and replicated her tenacious form in the second. After 41 minutes, the 20-year-old clinched her long-awaited victory with the final score 21-13, 21-15. The men's doubles final was a repeat of last year's matchup when Marcus Fernaldi Gideon and Kevin Sanjaya Sukamuljo took on Matthias Boe and Karsten Mogensen. Indonesia's world number one duo did just enough to pull away with the first game, but the second was a much more comfortable contest. Their Danish opponents struggled to get their game going and surrendered after 40 minutes of play. Gideon and Sukamuljo claimed their fifth World Super Series title of the year with the final score 21-19, 21-11. Over in women's doubles, world champions Chen Qingchen and Jia Yifan took on number 8 seeds Kim Hae-rin and Lee So-hee. After taking home the opener with relative ease, the Chinese combination faced a revitalized challenge by their Korean opponents in the second game that forced the match to a decider. The third game was well contested by both pairs, but it was Chen and Jia who came out on top in the end. 21-7, 18-21, 21-14, the final result. China was in action once again in the mixed doubles final as Zheng Siwei and Huang Yaqiong went up against Matthias Christiansen and Christina Pedersen of Denmark. Despite teaming up in only their second tournament together, Zheng and Huang played the match full of confidence and were never in real trouble against the Danes. The encounter was over in 35 minutes, the Chinese duo claiming their first World Super Series title in straight games. The final score read 21-15, 21-11. Wrapping up the day was men's singles, and it was a clash of the titans when Olympic gold medalist Chen Long faced the reigning world champion Victor Axelsen. Buoyed by the home crowd, Chen grabbed the opener, only to find his opponent producing a brilliant performance in the following game to level the match at 1 apiece. The Chinese ace regrouped for the third game and calmly navigated himself to victory. 21-16, 14-21, 21-13, the final score. Chen breaking a 2-year World Super Series drought. When we come back, we get up close and personal with one of para-badminton's best, Madzlan Saibon. With digital innovations, shuttle time is now more fun, engaging, and accessible than ever. So get connected to BWF's Badminton Schools program. Find out more about BWF's grassroots initiatives on these platforms. Download the app, visit the website, and get active on Facebook. Your gateway to shuttle time has never been so easy. Earlier in the show, you met the Malaysian team preparing for one of the biggest tournaments in para-badminton, the upcoming BWF Para-Badminton World Championships. Let's now introduce you to one of the country's best. He is 41-year-old Madzlan Saibon. Mazlan is Malaysia's #1 para-badminton player in the wheelchair category and an 8-time ASEAN men's singles and doubles champion. Badminton Unlimited caught up with the para-shuttler at his home in Kuala Lumpur, where he took us through his achievements while reflecting on his obstacles and aspirations in the shuttle game.
Memang saya suka.
All along, I have always loved sport. Since I was very young, until my schooling days, I was very active in sport. It happened about 20 years ago. My disability was caused by a road accident in 1995. I was on my motorbike and I collided with a car.
Dilanggar oleh kereta.
For some time, Madzlan was unable to cope with his impairment, and it could have taken a toll on him if not for a course in which he enrolled. The then 24-year-old was accepted into the Bangi Industrial Training and Rehabilitation Centre for the Disabled, and that gave him a new outlook on life.
Bila saya dah kemalangan tu, saya macam satu.
After the accident, I felt a bit lost.
Bila saya masuk ke.
So when I entered the center, I felt that I was given a new lease on life. At the center, I was exposed to various sporting activities. One of them was sitting volleyball. After that, I switched to badminton.
Saya beralih kepada badminton.
It was initially a challenge, but eventually wheelchair badminton became that missing piece he was looking for, and it also taught him some valuable life lessons.
Memang sedikit susah, difficult.
It is a bit difficult
Bila bermain untuk
and quite challenging.
sebab
In wheelchair badminton,
wheelchair badminton,
we only use half of the court,
separuh gelanggang, okay?
but it's not easy to play on a wheelchair.
Susah.
It takes hours and hours of practice to get used to it.
Fitness.
You also need to be quite fit because we rally a lot. That can be quite challenging and you tire very easily if you're not fit. You also have to be mentally strong. That is very important. If we are not mentally tough, we are also unable to achieve our goals.
Suatu pencapaian.
One of those goals is to hopefully change the bronze to a gold medal at the Para-Badminton World Championships in Ulsan, Korea. Madzlan has competed 4 times in the event, earning 3 silvers and a bronze in the process. So far, 2017 has been a successful campaign for the Malaysian. He recently racked up a silver and 2 bronzes at the USA and Japan Para-Badminton Internationals. In addition to his success in the singles format at the 9th ASEAN Para Games, the 41-year-old also grabbed a second gold in men's doubles with Muhammad Ikhwan Ramli. Those victories were a huge boost for Madzlan, who is staking a claim for the top spot on the winner's podium this week.
Ianya adalah
These tournaments helped me with my preparations for the World Championships in Ulsan. They will no doubt give me more confidence when I play in Korea, as there are a number of very tough opponents there. There will be many players to watch out for from top countries such as Hong Kong, Korea, and China. And what do I want from the championships? To be one of the champions, of course.
kejuaraan.
Aiding him on his journey towards success is the Podium Program. Launched last year by the Youth and Sport Ministry, the program aims to produce consistent and sustainable podium finishes for the country's athletes. With the focus on developing and maintaining high performance, the right-handed para-shuttler will be able to hone his skills even further to compete for some of the highest honors in the sport.
Program podium
The podium program is very detailed in its training schedule and its management. It has given me a lot of support and has helped me in my achievements. It has definitely benefited me a lot in both my training and in the tournaments I participated in. I get a lot of opportunities to play in many overseas tournaments. The exposure has definitely helped me a lot.
game-game di luar.
In a career that has spanned 13 years, Madzlan has come a long way since winning his first title in 2003 at the 2nd ASEAN Para Games. Since then, the Malaysian has amassed a number of accolades, and he is still hunting for the biggest prize of them all. But while he is ambitious, Madzlan is also wary of the tough competition that awaits him.
Semuanya ada dia punya
All of the medals I won are special and meaningful. I don't have one that is more special than the other, but all of them mean a lot to me. And of course, one of my highest achievements was at the World Championships.
saya sedang mencuba untuk
I'm now focused on trying to get a place in the Paralympics because there are limited spots for the competition and there may be some restrictions for those who can qualify. My biggest concern at the moment is Asia, as we have a lot of very good players. So I worry a lot of players will miss out because they will limit places for those players coming from Asia.
Select semua player dari Asia.
A place in Tokyo may not be guaranteed, but judging from his recent performances, Madzlan Saibon is on the right track towards achieving his ambition. And if he can keep to his form, he'll not only be flying the Malaysian flag in Ulsan, but also at the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. Now let's take a look at our Badminton Unlimited calendar. Join us next week when we speak to Indonesia's latest men's singles hotshot, Anthony Sinisuka Ginting, about his big moment in Korea. See you then!